Good Wednesday morning. Thank you for joining us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Megan McPherson. This morning, fans are speaking out after the Dave Matthews Band's show at the new Mystic Lake Amphitheater was postponed over weather. Take a look at these photos shared by the band's photographer on his Instagram story. They have since been deleted. You can see water pooling around the floor seats and buckets catching leaks inside the venue. In just the last few hours, again, those posts were deleted from his Instagram. Now, some fans took to social media questioning Mystic Lake's decision to postpone a show that was advertised as Rain or Shine. The venue says all tickets will be honored for the band's new show on August 31st. An update this morning out of Woodbury. A driver is now facing several charges after he allegedly drove into multiple townhomes while drunk. Court documents say when police talked to Ernest Gua, he was tired, smelled like alcohol, and could not walk on his own. Documents say he also blew nearly 4 times the legal limit on his breath tests. Neighbors tell Kare 11 his SUV hit one home before backing up, driving through several yards, and then hitting another home. The crash also prompting crews to evacuate the neighborhood because of a gas leak. And this morning, we're learning a Twin Cities activist accused of assaulting law enforcement during an ICE protest has pleaded guilty to a reduced charge. Isabel Lopez was charged last summer after a narcotics raid on Lake Street. Federal officials also say she punched an FBI agent when she was arrested days later. Yesterday, she pleaded guilty to 1 misdemeanor charge of assaulting, resisting, and impeding officers. She's facing no jail time, only a $25 fine. Lopez says she was surprised with the judge's decision.
Just like a lot of celebration, a lot of love. At the end of the day, again, it's not about me, it's about everybody else. It's about the fact that I'm not the only one that's scared. There's more people here that are scared. There's more people here that was volunteering and helping during Metro Surge, and during this year, I was behind the scenes. I didn't do a lot of frontline work, but a lot of people here did, and it was extremely scary.
Lopez's legal team says this was an isolated incident, calling the charges a, quote, propaganda show. This morning, President Trump is praising an agreement with Iran as good for the country. He says despite what Iran has said publicly, privately, they agreed to never have a nuclear weapon and to invite inspectors into its nuclear program. NBC's Bofta Imam has details.
President Trump may not be on the ballot this November, but he's certainly fighting to keep his base, spending time in Pennsylvania on Tuesday. This comes as the Senate approved a war powers resolution. The largely symbolic measure rebukes President Donald Trump by calling for an end to the U.S. war against Iran. 4 Senate Republicans joined almost all Democrats as the Senate passed a war powers resolution on Tuesday, calling for the end of the U.S. war against Iran.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 48.
The symbolic pushback directs President Trump to withdraw U.S. troops or get congressional approval. Meanwhile, speaking in a key Pennsylvania swing district, President Trump touted his negotiations with Iran.
They were the bully of the Middle East, and now we're leaving Iran with no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-aircraft, no missile capability, no nuclear program.
While he insists Iran fully agreed to high-level nuclear inspections, Iran has balked at that, saying no visits have been scheduled.
They're wrong. They know they're wrong. They told us inside, and we have it down 100% inspections. And if they were right, I'd cancel the meetings right now.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio worked to sell the Iran deal to allies who have often been the target of Iranian missiles. Part of the deal includes unfreezing Iranian financial assets if Iran adheres to the deal.
We know what they agreed to do, and now they'll either do it or they won't.
Some in Trump's own party remain skeptical about Iran without specifics confirmed by Congress.
Why does anybody think the Iranians are going to honor this deal after Trump's gone?
The president is also pressed to pass the Save America Act, a sweeping voter ID bill that stalled in the Senate.
The American people know what a disaster this is.
I think it's important, but the numbers are not there.
Numbers that the president will likely push for during a GOP lunch on Wednesday. Now, the same war powers resolution passed in the House earlier this month. Also, President Trump is not satisfied with the rate that gas prices are coming down. Overnight, he says he's instructing the Justice Department to look into possible price gouging by oil companies. In Washington, Bofta Imam, NBC News.
It has been 4 years since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, eliminating the constitutional right to an abortion. And today, local activists say they're fighting for bodily autonomy. The People's Action Coalition Against Trump says they're holding a rally to talk about the impacts of overturning Roe v. Wade, as well as recent Medicaid cuts. They'll meet at 5 on the bridge over 94 on Snelling Avenue in St. Paul. This morning, we're hearing from a big Lake nonprofit after the state suddenly overturned its terminated Medicaid status. This is video from Option Inc.'s town hall last night. The nonprofit serves nearly 200 people with disabilities. At the end of May, the Department of Human Services disenrolled about 3,400 providers, including Option Inc., to try and root out fraud and protect billions in federal Medicaid dollars. But Option says legitimate providers are being swept into the chaos.
Hannah is not a line item. She's not a number in a database. She's a person. So are there nearly 200 other individuals who depend on organizations like this every day.
Right now, it's not clear how many other providers are in limbo. We reached out to DHS, but we haven't heard back. An update this morning from the St. Paul School District. The board just approved its 2026-2027 budget with a more than $14 million deficit. The district says it's planning staffing cuts to get back in the black, including around 90 positions in district schools. They also say kindergarten class sizes will likely go up. The deficit mostly comes from declining enrollment, with the district losing about 900 students in 2 years. And this morning, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey says the search for a new police chief may last until fall. The mayor laying out his timeline for hiring a new police chief, starting with feedback and engagement and going through final interviews. He says he expects to nominate a candidate by October or November. Frey says that timeline is on par with hiring for similar city positions. He says the process took 8 months to hire Chief Brian O'Hara. O'Hara resigned almost a month ago for allegations he interfered in an internal investigation into his actions. This morning, the Minnesota Attorney General's office says 7 social service providers are facing fraud charges as part of a nationwide crackdown. The providers charged in Minnesota are accused of fraudulently billing more than $700,000. Prosecutors say they charged nationwide programs for services they didn't provide, as well as services provided by unlicensed workers. Attorney General Keith Ellison's Medicaid Fraud Control Unit will prosecute the local cases. And across the country, DOJ leaders say the false claim charges add up to $6.5 billion. And back home, Minneapolis is getting ready for day 3 of the Special Olympics USA Games. Team Minnesota dominating so far in the medal count. Audrey Russo is at the U of M campus with one of the gold medal athletes.
Good morning. That's right. Minnesota has 34 gold medals, according to the website right now, just cleaning up, and 4 of them we're looking at right now. This is Dimitri, a power lifter, and his coach, Peter. Dimitri, how is your neck getting a little sore?
Nope, it's not getting sore at all. It's actually pretty strong now, you know.
Absolutely. Tell me what it's like to have won 4 gold medals in powerlifting.
It was exciting. The adrenaline was awesome, you know, to receive all of these medals. And I was like in tears, and I was just the happiest person there at all times.
Absolutely. I mean, and he won all of these on day 1. So he came in, he saw, he cleaned up. Peter, what's it like to, coach an athlete like this? Because you guys haven't been working together that long.
We haven't. I mean, it's just a privilege. I mean, he talks about he was the happiest person in the room. I would contest that and say that his coaching staff was probably the happiest people in the room watching him receive all those medals.
And, you were telling me a little bit about the scoring. And for people that don't know how this works, tell me, your head's not allowed to come off the bench. It's a lot to think about.
Yep, it is a lot to think about, You had to play that in your head over and over to get it right. Because if you lose focus, you won't get it right. I've been playing that in my head ever since I've been here, over and over. Keep focused, Dimitri. You can do it. You've been doing state for a long time. You've been nailing this a lot at state. Remember what the coaches tell you, keep your eye on them.
Absolutely. And, why should people, support the Special Olympics, seeing success stories like this one?
Well, the first thing I'd say is, why wouldn't you? I mean, look at the joy that it brings out in everybody who attends the event. Come out and watch it, and it's just infectious. Joy, happiness, gratitude, it's all right there.
Now, Dimitri, can you give us one more flex? Boom. The arms of a champion. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I'll send things back to you.
Stick with us. More news and weather is coming up after the break.